everybody, this is Ring from the Rink, and good morning. This is early morning, not early morning, early for me on a weekend, that's for sure. And welcome back to my channel. This channel, if you're new here, is all about vacations, good food, and today we got a very nice motorcycle. Today I'm on the FX DWG3, also known as the Switchblade or a CVO, and it's all the way from 2002. That make it 1 year short of the anniversary model, which from what I know is in red. Now if you ask me, I had a chance, I'll probably pick this color over red. This bike also came in black in the later part of the same year production as this one, which I don't know, I haven't actually seen one. In fact, you know what, I have not seen another CVO Switchblade on the road. I've mentioned to you I've seen one that is signed by Willie G, who is the original designer of this bike. I mean, from what I know, he from head to toe designed this bike on his own, well, with aids of others, I'm sure, but mostly this is what you call a Willie G design, genuinely. So today I'm basically gonna be expressing my love letter to this bike. Now that may sound real corny and everything, and my hands are frozen already, and I've only been riding for about a minute. But anywho, I am so infatuated with this bike. It's almost like when I first started riding. You ride, you go home, and you park it in your garage, and in about 2 seconds, you're like, oh, I want to go back out there and ride. That's how I feel with this bike so far anyways. And I had this bike for only, I say 2 weeks, something like that, I don't know, 10 odd days. But it just feels so good on it. It makes you want to ride, you know, like it's I don't know, I don't know how to actually express the way I feel about this bike, except that I always want to be on this bike. But it's never actually really been my thing, except for when I was really young. Like you guys all know, I fell in love with motorbikes since about the age of 6. But this bike pretty much represents what a bike should look like. You know, it reminds me of what a bike looks like when I was a kid. Like if you ask me when I was about 6 or 7, you know, draw a bike, I'll probably draw something that will look very similar to this. As I turn off my signal, which I forgot. Now as you could see, not lying, it's quite early in the morning when there's nobody on Young Street and no Diablos and Lambos blasting down this strip. As usually on a weekend, which today is, it's a Saturday, most of the time, or at least past 3 or 4 or 5 in the afternoon, you see billion-dollar cars just blasting down up and down on this particular area. So to me, sighting a Diablo is not exciting anymore, as they're everywhere. In fact, there's a place back up a bit north of here that had like Bentleys and Rolls Royces. They were always different, super exotic and expensive cars that would be parked up that area. But anyhow, today is not about Bentleys or Roses. It is about this Wide Glide. Now, like I mentioned to you in one of the videos, I've never ridden a Wide Glide for a very long period of time, not an extended period of time. So my experiences with these bikes are quite limited. I've had a few CVOs. If you've been following my channel, you know, but this is the first CVO that is like 20 years old. I mean, I think literally too. So that's why this bike is sort of foreign to me in that way. Just like how Young Street with all cars is foreign to me is. So this bike is super lovely, not in the same way as my Springer is, but it is very close. It is like either this or the Springer that would bring me the most joy. Now I remember I told you guys that the Springer brings me the utmost joy, and it is just like very joyful bike to ride and brings me a lot of happiness while I ride it. And this one also does that, but absolutely in a different direction, I would say, because I guess the designers in Harley-Davidson back in those days, they really know what they're doing. I sort of remember that they advertised the Dyna as something that was sporty, that was quick, and I gotta say, I gotta attest to that. I mean, my Softail Springer is all awesome and joyful, but this one is that much more sporty compared to the Softail Springer. I don't know how they design these bikes, except that they feel like they are very capable of very sporty riding. In fact, I say if you're a competent rider, you'll probably be able to enjoy this bike very much so on like curved roads and canyon roads and all those sorts of awesome conditions that we do not have here in the flatland Toronto. That's right, we don't know mountains, wait, no curved roads. Only curved roads that we have are roads that you make a left or right turn on. Well, as I speak, there's a little bit of a little curve here. But this bike, like I said, is so awesome, and I love it. I just always want to ride it. It perhaps, like I said, is because of the carb, and I just love the sound of a bike when it's carb, because they sound very different than anything that we could buy readily from the dealer. Because it's carb operated, you're always under the impression that the engine may act up, or if you haven't maintained it real well, that it might not function too properly, and so therefore you gotta be attentive. You gotta make sure that you're upkeeping this bike. Where's that radar detector that should be here? Oh, somebody, check that out. They pushed that thing to the ground. Awesome. Could have went 60 and nobody would have gave me a ticket. If you were to ask me to draw a bike when I was a kid, this is probably the bike that I'll draw. No, not exactly a name of the Dyna or something, but you know, I mean, this is what a bike should look like. It's all raked out. It's like a drag bike. It just looks so cool, and must be because of the old school DNA that I have inside me. I love metallic paint and crazy flames, man. This bike, if you don't know it already, it's got flames. You see this flame? It got flames right up on the fenders, even in the back. You can't see the metallic paint, but check out this video here. You might be able to see a little more of the outlook on this bike. This bike actually gives you a lot of what Harley bikes should give you, and that is like the mega vibration that you enjoy. It's not shakes, it's a vibration, it's a harmonic thing, you know what I'm saying? This bike is just, it's just so awesome. I mean, what is not to like when there's a V-twin? Listen to the sound. I love it. Sitting here, sunny autumn day, checking out the leaves, the foliage, and listening to the sound of a TC88. So awesome. And it's too bad I could smell the gas too. You probably can. I know, because my choke is still out and I don't want to stall, and I didn't really warm up properly this bike. But anyhow, this bike is super awesome, even when it's about to stall any second. That's because it's of me, really. It's not because of the bike. I've been playing with the tuning, the RPM, idling RPM, see if I can make it real slow and yet still not stalling, which I have not been able to do. so it's gonna stall anytime it wants to, but at least it's gonna be sounding the way I want it to be, or it's getting there. But check out the leaves. Oh man, I'm so grateful to be able to ride today, this morning, just to be able to have the energy and health to come out and ride. And just I'm so grateful, guys. Every time we come out here on a ride, I feel that, man, I'm just so grateful to enjoy the sights and sounds and smell and be able to ride, especially on this 02 Wide Glide CVO, which, man, when I got into this, I did not expect that I'll be doing a separate YouTube video just to express how awesome and fun and how much I enjoy this bike. I mean, it is super awesome. The paint, the look, the sound. If you watched the delivery of this bike, as soon as I got on it, I said, okay, well, the forward controls may not be my first choice. Well, let me tell you right now, I wouldn't care if they were even further out, because this bike, the position, the way it feels, the way that makes me feel, super awesome, man. Like A+ ride, A+ look, A+ sound, and the feeling you get from riding this bike, definitely A+, man. I just love this thing right now. I might be onto something here with this Wide Glide. It is actually my first Wide Glide, if you still don't know that. I love it so much. And at first I was gonna change the forward controls to maybe reduce forward, because of course, you guys, if you haven't seen my video on my 48, I've had a 48, so I mean, I'm not foreign to forward controls, but I am new to a Wide Glide full forward control, because I don't know, the 48 did not feel that much forward, but this did when I first got onto it. But now it feels so good, is all I can say. The plans may be to change them to reduce forwards. I doubt I'll do any of the mid controls. I don't think that'd be any comfortable after I got used to this now. Then I was also gonna change the bars here. I don't, well, at least I didn't think I like these bars. I do now, but I mean, I thought I've always wanted apes for this style bar, like Dyna, Wide Glides. You gotta have like apes. I don't know, maybe you guys, help me out on this one. What would you do? Would you do bar wise apes, or would you just leave it the way it is? Or what ideas do you have if you were to ride this bike? What bars would you have on this bike? So one thing I want to know, if you guys know, what are the usual mileages on this bike on a tank? I mean, I think I've been only getting like 100 so Ks on it, meaning it's not even 100 miles. But I do know that this bike, whatever the previous owner did to it, this bike feels really powerful. And that's another thing that really surprised me. Like, I've heard people talk about it, and some other fellow riders have told me, Harley riders, said you don't actually need a big engine. I mean, I know guys who talk that theory and they ride fast, and I mean, they're a fast rider as well, but they tell me you don't need a big engine. I sort of maybe understand where they're coming from now, because this bike is a TC88 and man, it's powerful. Today is quite windy, although it's just so pretty. Look at this, man, leaves everywhere on the road, and the colors, although it's sort of already peaked, but you still get yellows and oranges. I'll show you over here on the right later, over that bridge in front of us, you'll see on the right that there are some nice colors right here, starting here pretty much. I think the left too, but maybe it's the more brown now. Here there are some more colors, a little bit more. See that? Yeah, this is so pretty, riding in late October, sunny autumn morning, where the traffic hasn't really started kicking in yet, it's the best, man. Even if it's freezing, even if my hands are all frigid. Man, this is so pretty. This bike feels so good. I love it, man. Wow. Look at this. Riding a 20-year-old bike, 21-year-old bike actually, and checking out the leaves 21 years later. Wow. What a feeling, man. I mean, if you're watching this and you don't ride, man, I urge you to at least try it once. You know, go learn how to ride and ride. It is just so enjoyable. You're like enjoying the environment at the utmost level you can. I mean, it might be similar to cycling, but you know, you don't do the hard work. Man, this is so good. And like I said, this bike, it just makes you feel so good when you ride it. But this bike, it gets the most attention, even compared to a 23 CVO, which is, you know, like the newest and greatest. But man, everybody check this bike out. I mean, everybody. When you're like at the lights, you know, when you stop by, okay, yeah, it's loud, they look at you, but I mean, you know, they're like, oh man, look at that bike, you know, type of thing. It's just crazy. I mean, like, I didn't get this bike for that, but you know, you might get your latest double R's, triple R's, you know, your sports bikes, you know, looking all cool and think you came from MotoGP or something. But it's so surprising that it's this bike like this 21-year-old bike that it gets that much attention, gets so much attention. Everybody looks at this bike like it's something that is just, you know, something they haven't seen. And perhaps that might be the reason people maybe haven't seen this for so long that they're like, whoa, you know. I'm not saying 21-year-old bike is really old, and it's quite old. And up here in the northern part of North America, we don't get a lot of bikes remaining in this type of shape, which is great type of shape. You know, people don't see it. That might be why, and I don't know, but so far this bike has been getting so much attention, including myself, because this is the only bike I want to take out now, almost. Well, anyways, thanks for watching the Zero Mind. If you like my video, remember to comment, like, and share. If you think my videos are pretty good, do consider subscribing to my channel. I'll talk to you on the next one, guys.